Hi, my name's Courtney Can, and I'm a career consultant and a life coach, and I do videos out of my house. You can see this is real life right here. Oh, my Christmas tree, but I got my little munchkin, my bundle of joy with me. So thank you so much for joining me today. I am working on an experiment in my life right now, and I'm calling it my freedom journey. This episode of the freedom journey, this part of it is the freedom is my journey to financial freedom. Just setting the camera down there. This is right there as part of the toy structure that my little Michaela plays on. There we go. Now I can grab it again. So part of the journey has been opening myself up to a huge idea. At the beginning of the year, I set out with this mission of how can I pay off all my debt this year? That means all my student loans, that means our business loan, that means my husband's business loan, my business loan, family loans, all of it. That was my very first thing when I thought of financial freedom. I was like, to have no debt. No credit card debt, nothing. So at the beginning of the year, I set out with that intention, and boy, have we made some incredible progress, and I've learned so much of it has to do with mindset. And now I'm sitting here, and I caught myself at about the beginning of this month being like, oh, well, we made some really great progress, and if we don't hit that goal, that's okay. And it dawned on me that, oh, well, I'll never hit my goal if I'm telling myself that I'm not going to hit my goal. And I have thousands and thousands of dollars left to go. $60,000-ish left to go by December 31st. And we've made tons of progress, so which is great, but there's all the business loans and everything as well that I'm chunking into that. So I did something that I've heard. I asked myself a question that I often tell people to ask themselves this question, which is, what would you do if you didn't believe it was impossible? And I was super blessed to also have a realization, sort of a teaching, I guess, about a month ago where a fellow said, if you want to get to your goals, if you want to get to your dreams, you have to stop wanting them, and you have to start needing them. They've got to turn from a want to a must. And I said, okay, well, if I must pay back all my debts, if I had no other choice, if there was going to be a dire circumstance, or if I had to find that money for a family member, I would figure out how to do it. I would find the money. And so this is my journey of finding that money and making my humongous goal, my dream, come true just by opening my awareness to other possibilities, other ways that I can attract money into my life. So I think this is day 3 only, 2 or 3. And it's been a whirlwind since I started making these videos, just following this journey. I learned a huge lesson yesterday. Well, relearned. I knew this, but I was reminded of it, that if you want to attract money in your life, you have to put money around you. And that doesn't necessarily mean like loonies and toonies if you're not from Canada, dollar bills and and like physical money around you, but you've got to put money mindset around you. You've got to read books. You've got to look for money where there is money. So one step I'm going to take, and this, my muffin is starting to be upset. Let's see if we can get her a toy. Here you go, honey. There. One step that I took was I started reading the book, You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. And it is incredible. I'm committing to, I'm actually listening as an audiobook, but 25 minutes a day will let me finish the book by December 31st. And I got to share what she shared with me today in her book, which was, this is the big thing. She said she was like totally lived the poor mentality lifestyle, she said, until she was in her 40s. And this is a quote. She said, I got off my butt and made the hell-bent for glory decision to get over the fear and loathing of money and figure out how to make some. And it totally reminded me that when we want something, it's about a decision. That we have to stop trying, because if we say I'm trying to get rid of debt, I'm trying to be financially free, I'm trying to lose weight, whatever it is, then we live the mindset of trying, and where our attention goes, our energy flows. So if our attention is on trying, the only tangible results that we're ever going to get in our lives is a result of trying. It means we're never going to get there if we're just trying to do something. She's saying she had to get off her butt and make the hell-bent decision. The decision, that's what it boils down to, right? Decide means to cut away from. So we have to cut away from ourselves everything that prevents us from moving forward to the thing that we're desiring. So part of me right now, this cutting away from myself, is cutting away the mentality, cutting away this thing inside my head that's saying, oh, that's a crazy amount of money in such a short time. Like, people don't do that. That's only 1 in a million can do that. That's something that I'm cutting away from my life. And I realize I have to cut away some fear. The second thing that she said today that stood out to me was, she said, this is what it takes to make money. She said, I had to write it down, agreeing to get really, 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 really uncomfortable over and over again. So, okay, how do I get uncomfortable then to make myself $60,000 in 3 weeks to attract that? I am so grateful to have had some great ideas come my way, which is to talk to HR, the HR divisions in the oil fields and in like the mining, and we've got a business coming into our town, which I could talk to them and talk to the government and HR and say like, hey, what can I do to offer you? I'd love to offer you my service as a life coach. Ooh, talk about fear. I'm super scared. I don't know. I've never worked in any type of corporation type mentality like that, like big money in the oil field. I don't know much about even the oil field, but that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to overcome this fear, because it's when we take massive imperfect steps, is another way I've heard it said. Massive imperfect steps leads to the thing that we want in our life. So my massive imperfect step is to get myself out there, and I'm going to contact the people who have money. That was the thing, right? You got to put money around yourself. So that was the realization that those people in those big corporations, they've got money, and I have something that I can offer them. So maybe if you're on this journey, I'm hoping that this journey is also inspiring other people to think about where they want freedom in their life. And if you can ask yourself the same question of, if I didn't believe it was impossible, what would I do? And who would I put around myself? And maybe to ask some questions and to start putting it out there, asking other people, what could I do? And get some ideas, do some research, grab a book. And maybe you're on this financial freedom journey too. So that question of, how can I put money around me? How can I be talking to the people who understand money? How can I educate myself about money? That's one of the main first steps. So that's the step. That's where I'm at on this journey. My next step is I'm going to keep reading the book, You're a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. I'm going to reach out to some oil fields and talk to their HR people, see if they're looking for someone to come in and help their workers be happier, so that they have higher quality of work, higher client or worker retention, and we're going to go from there and see how that turns out. I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully, I know for sure there's going to be something new that I've learned over the next 24 hours. Thanks so much for watching these videos. These ones are a little bit longer, being that they're sort of documenting my journey on this. But every little bit of support that I get from you, I so appreciate. Thank you so much for liking this post and for sharing this post, and maybe tapping in and tuning into some of my other posts on my YouTube page or on my Facebook page. I'm just so grateful. Please, please, please share your ideas, share your contacts. I'm open to, I want to open myself to as many possible ways of attracting this money into my life. Partly for that financial freedom, but partly to prove that it's possible to myself and to the rest of the world. So thanks so much for your help. I can't do it myself. I rely on everyone and all of your wonderful ideas. So share below, comment, ask me questions. I love to keep in touch, and I really enjoy reading comments. So thank you so much again, and we'll see you tomorrow.